back like the seats of an 86 Delta 88 coupe on D's and Bones, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Going live in a minute, Blizzard King. This is Winter Dennis Spurling podcast. You are rocking with the realest black men represented. Ain't no lies, cause we winning. Catching flies, ain't no feelings. Uncle D, we the villain, baby. We just left the village, baby. Now we in them villas, baby. Dennis Spurling podcast, tuning in, we get it, baby. You can hate the player, hate the game. We love all you haters. Hate watch, hate watch. Calling lovely ladies, hands on your knees. You can thank us later. We snatching the crowns off of queens. We obliterate them. Tell the truth, shame the devil. They trying to eliminate us. You begging the sipping haters. Peeling layers off potatoes. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling podcast. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling podcast. Whoa.
We have to clean up what's going on in our house before we do anything else.
We do not care if y'all go out of the country to find y'all a wife who is traditional.
Every day, more lies. You understand what I'm saying? Hate me all you want to, baby. I don't mind hating me. Hate all you can. Let me go the other way. Hate all you can. Hate everything. But I'm gonna still make you look good. Black men winning. Okay? Come on, somebody type that in the chat room. Black men winning. Okay? Because that's just what's happening. We are winning.
We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. Yeah. We winning. We winning. I know they hating out here. Yeah. I know they mad. They all in their feelings. But baby, I don't care. She calling the police on me and everything. Yeah. Somebody need to get on the phone, call my attorney. Dealing with these hard-headed hoes who ain't learning. Acting all ignorant like a motherfucking menace. She better bundle up, cause bitches about to be winner. Niggas acting timid, why you think she treat a nigga so bad? Turn her only fucking son into a killer. Can't even distinguish who the women, who the bitches. She broke my nigga, even Jesus can't fix it. Navajo nigga, got a man up in prison, but quick to tell you, get your bag up, bitch, quit it. Ever heard of Dennis? Yes sir, get your Spurling, we in court early, don't be acting all girly. Keep that same energy, don't need any men. You the man, you the father, you the face of many men. Yep, Minnie Rippleton, taking L's your whole life. While the passport bros taking off the next flight. Some thick, something feminine, rubbing on my shoulders. Be a cold day in hell, Blizzard King try to tell you. A new world is coming, bitch, you better stop sinning. See, God took Kevin, left your sorry ass with Dennis.
Somebody type of old broad in the chat room. Talking about men, you can't find them. That just means you had your chance, boo. You had your chance, and your chance has passed you by. Husband done went on to the great beyond. He's not there looking for you no more. You done hit one wall. Somebody type one wall in the chat room. You done hit two walls. Somebody say 3 walls. Yeah.
Dill, 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 another sound get killed. Duck a dill, dill, dill. Sign on the will. Duck a dill, dill, dill. Another sound get killed. Duck a dill, dill, dill. Sign on the will. Them one tie, them one tie. To come at them funeral and them no say, I know say. Soundplex is a general. Them one tie, them one tie. Cha, to come at them funeral and I know say, them no say. Soundplex is a general. Hear me limb by limb, we a go cut them down, send pretty oxa. Take out them tongue, give me shut them down, send for the oxa. Take out them tongue when they see we.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, 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 hey. Somebody type hey, hey, hey in the chat room, man. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to my man Glow Hardy. Thank you for keeping the chat room popping, man. Everybody can see my man Glow Hardy. I got to give Glow Hardy that super wrench. You know, they passing out that super duper wrench. I got to give Glow Hardy one of those super wrenches when I get a chance. Thank you so much for all your work. Thank you so much, Glow Hardy. Who else we got in there? Where the rest of my men? I see Devin Townsend. Thank you so much for being a member. All the rest of my members, all the rest of my wrench mob. You guys make sure you hit the #1 button, man. So we are going to, well, let me just preface this statement. This is going to be building time. Somebody type building time in the chat room. This is one of those broadcasts that I think men should spend more time doing, and that is building themselves through understanding themselves. And so that's what we're going to deal with today. So for those of you who like to hear all the rah-rah and you want somebody to talk about these lovely ladies or politics, this broadcast, I'm going to tell you now, is going to be over your head. You are not qualified to listen to this conversation because it's I can explain it to you. I can't make you understand. Okay. And sometimes it's just, some things are just too deep for people to understand, and you're just not ready for it. Maybe with life experience and education and even educating yourself, you'll get there. But we're going to talk about something. So just about the characteristics of man. And when I say man, I'm talking about mankind. I'm talking about humankind. Somebody type duality of man in the chat room. All right. Somebody type duality of man in the chat room. Somebody type duality of man in the chat room. Somebody type good and evil in the chat room. Somebody type good and evil in the chat room. Come on. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Hit the #1 button if you can hear me. I'll let the music play so we can start getting into it. So today we're going to embark on I would say a deep and compelling journey. And it's going to take us through some enduring themes of good and bad, good and evil, or justice, anarchy, as opposed to order and chaos. There's an old saying that said cleanliness is next to godliness, but nobody truly explains to you what that means. Our ancient societies, and even now, we consider order to be akin to godliness. And therefore, cleanliness, which brings about order, is considered, next to godliness. And so that's where that saying comes from. I've said that before, but I don't think many people pick that up. For those of you guys who've read my books, I have the capability of going here or going there. And my preference is not to fight all the time. My preference is not to constantly be battling the detractors. My preference is to always look within and create a better understanding. And in doing that, I have to, and you have to, begin to master yourselves. And so in order to master yourself, you have to truly understand yourself. Somebody type know thyself in the chat room, please. Come on. We need some crowd participation, or we're going to lose half of y'all before we get 20 minutes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore these dualities. We'll uncover how they're not only prevalent throughout history and society, but they also are reflective of our internal battles. Somebody type internal battles in the chat room. Internal battles for each individual that they face within themselves. So in our discussion, we will examine ways in which cultures across time have personified good and evil, from ancient mythologies to modern narratives. Okay. Now, I know you guys don't want me to go dig up the past, and we don't need to talk about the ancient Sumerian gods. Many of you don't want to talk about Egypt. You don't want to talk about the Greek gods. You don't want to talk about the Roman gods. But our modern day God stories or superhero stories are in our comic books. They are Thor. They are, well, actually, that's not even modern day, but the way they Marvel comic has done it. So it's Superman, for instance, a godlike feature, a creation. But characters like Batman and the Joker, and there's a lot into it. And even if we want to talk about Black history, because I know the predominant following that I have is Black men, we can talk about deities like Horus and Set. Somebody type Horus and Set in the chat room. All my good spellers out there, get my good spellers, type Horus and Set in the chat room. Sometimes referred to as Set, sometimes referred to as you guys may know the story of Isis and Osiris, but we're going to talk about Horus, who is the child of Isis and Osiris, and Set, who is the uncle of Osiris. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about. And these profound, I would say profound reflections of our own internal conflicts between morality and temptation, stability and disruption. And as you can see, each one of these words is the antithesis of the other. But I think by the time we finish, you'll have a better understanding of this. But these archetypes, they help us as human beings understand the complexities of human nature and the fine line that we walk between maintaining order and succumbing to chaos, even within ourselves. So as we delve into these characters and these stories, we'll draw parallels between societal struggles and personal battles. And this will, I hope, it will help illustrate how the external world often mirrors our internal dilemmas. And more importantly, we can discuss the implications of leaning too far towards either extreme, trying to be too good, trying to be too bad. Even in situations like where society, extreme justice and order versus extreme anarchy and chaos. Neither one of those are good. And I know that's probably shocking to you. What do you mean? Yeah, you may understand that chaos is bad, but too much justice and order? Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Somebody type yeah in the chat room. Somebody type yeah in the chat room. So let's do this. We're gonna take a quick break. I gotta go get my my water because my God, I guess I messed around and forgot to get some water. But you guys make sure you hit the #1 button. I'll be right back, and then we're gonna get straight into this thing. All right, y'all hit the #1 button. Let me know, and I will be right back.
Dennis Spurling podcast, click your mouse pad. Yeah, we out back. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Don't just hate watch, cause we outside. Let them hate watch, go and play pop. We just lay back. He don't play that. We on playback. We on playback. We go way back. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. This is Dennis Spurling podcast. Don't just hate watch, hit subscribe and let them know we outside. Don't hold hate, donate. Super chat, cash app. Put something in the collection plate. Church.
I want y'all to make sure y'all hit the #1 button. And we're going to kind of get back to what we like to do over here, man. I need y'all to check in. At a certain point when it's time to check in, I need to check in it, to checking in to start happening again. We got to go ahead and get this algorithm pumping. All right, welcome back. Somebody type duality of man in the chat room. Somebody type good and evil in the chat room. Okay. Throughout history, throughout mankind, storytellers, it's television shows, whatever we have, people are constantly battling with these themes. And so these themes repeat throughout society, whether it be art, any reflection, anything that requires deep reflection. And so here's the thing I want you guys to understand. What I want you to notice, okay? Just so you'll know where I'm going in case you want to run up out of here real quick. Notice that there's no good and evil in nature. Think about that. There's no good and evil in nature. And what I'm saying is, if a lion kills a buffalo, we don't refer to that lion as a murderer, do we? No, it's not. It's simply called predation. It's simply called nature. In fact, we will go so far as to justify that lion killing that buffalo for the purpose of predation to feed its cubs. Now, from the buffalo's perspective, it might be evil because they lose a member of their group, or a mother may lose a calf. But do we really consider that evil? Not so much. And so here's what I need you to understand. When society began, when people began to try to explain events based on their perspective, if an occurrence or an event or a thing or a place or a person came along and it promoted harmony and peace, then we personified that with good. Now, in the converse, any occurrence or event or thing or place or person that promoted disharmony or chaos and destruction, we label that as bad. Somebody type good and bad. Okay? A hurricane comes along, a tornado comes along. This is a natural occurrence. We refer to that as good or bad, or we refer to it as bad if it destroys our property, if it causes chaos, causes us to lose loved ones. But is it really? A hurricane brings rain. This is a natural occurrence, but it also may unalive many human beings. But nature wouldn't consider it good or bad, but we as human beings personified it. So as we went on, we began to personify good and evil. We labeled them gods, right? Both good and evil gods, right? Now we've simply eliminated all the other gods and we have one God and one devil. This is called monotheism. We went from having multiple gods where we were polytheistic. There were gods or nymphs or whatever, magical creatures, godlike creatures in every stream and every tree and every forest and every mountain, every rock. And depending on how our day with and our interaction with that item, it was either good or evil. Okay. Now I want you to notice something about God and the devil, something that you may not have thought of. If you add an O to God, it spells good. And if you drop the D from evil, what do you get? Or you've dropped the D from devil, you get evil. Isn't that interesting? So what has really changed? Nothing has really changed. We're still grappling with the same concepts. Now, the theme good and evil is prevalent in our art, in our music, pretty much every aspect of society. Movies about cops and crooks. There's a clear delineation between who's good and evil. Matter of fact, anytime a character is ambiguous, we find that odd. We call that person the anti-hero. Where a character, there's some good, they think they're doing. We refer to that as, and we don't really have a place for that. Even if you look beyond movies and modern times, if you look at stories like David and Goliath, okay? David was a shepherd boy who hit Goliath in the head with a rock. Now, apparently, if you look at the historical context of who Goliath was, he was really a big idiot. Like he was really a retarded person. Okay, he was just big for no reason. He had they're saying he may have had a growth issue, and that's why he was so big, some sort of genetic defect. So imagine that. Now we understand that David possibly killed some big retarded person dressed up in gear to fight. So does that make David good, or does that make him evil, or kind of a little bit of the both? Bottom line is the Bible is repeat with these stories. So this is ingrained in our religious beliefs. Even in wars, the wars that we fight, we always have to have a good and an evil. So we always have to vilify the other side. We always come up with terms for our enemies, derogatory terms. Those of you guys who are in the military, you always have some name. I remember back in the Vietnam era, I would watch these movies that would refer to the North Vietnamese soldiers as in a derogatory term. They would refer to them as gooks. Here in the United States, Black Americans or Africans, just to dehumanize them and make them evil, we would refer to as the N-words. Native Americans were referred to as savages, because remember, the winner writes the story, but they always want to put themselves as the good guy. Oh, lost you for a minute. Nevertheless, the winner determines the side who's good. And so they're always going to personify themselves as good. Now, here's the thing. I find it interesting, and you should find it interesting too. When time passes, and when those who are emotionally unattached to the actual event, notice how things begin to look straight. There's always a revision in history, right? From a less emotional standpoint. Now we see the Vietnamese fighters as valiant fighters fighting the invasion from an Imperial American army. We look at the Native Americans as not savages, but noble people who live on the plains, who are fighting against the Imperial onslaught. Isn't that something? You see, it's almost like the cast of the lens of time takes the emotion out of it, and we can begin to see things in a more clear light. Nevertheless, there are always themes of good and evil, because whereas the savage Indian went from being the bad, over time it became the good, and the cavalry in the United States, the place where we live, became bad. Now, I know you guys were probably expecting me to talk about something more local and colloquial and tabloidish, but I think this is necessary. If you think these sort of conversations are necessary, let me know. Somebody type necessary, because I'm going to get there. Okay. Now, type necessary in the chat room. Please type necessary in the chat room. I need to know I have some crowd participation in here. We don't have a whole lot of people. They clearly see this is not their broadcast. Some people come for the mess, but I'm here to teach you all these life lessons. So type necessary in the chat room. And I see all my wrench mob in here. I see Mark, the freelancer, Joe Martin, Braxton, the snake friend. I see everybody. Salty Balls, what's happening, brother? I see all you guys up in here. But we're going to continue. So, and this is for you. This is, you're gonna really be able to take this and really dissect it. Now, I chose two characters, two modern day godlike features, two the hero versus the evil doer, right? I chose these two first because I know they're very common. All right, Batman and the Joker. We need to examine the relationship between Batman and the Joker and why this comic book and why this pairing is so popular. And why is it that the human psyche gravitates towards these two? Why is it that people, especially men, women also, from all walks of life, from all areas of the world, why is it that the relationship between Batman and the Joker is one that so many people are drawn to? It is, in my opinion, one of the most iconic hero-villain dynamics in comic book history, in my opinion. Now, let's dig a little bit into Batman's lore, okay? Because again, Batman is the modern day hero. He is godlike in some of the things he can do. He would be considered a god. But his alter ego, Batman, also known as Bruce Wayne, he is a billionaire playboy who, after witnessing the murder of his parents as a child, in other words, he saw chaos and disorder up close and personal. He now vows to rid Gotham City of the crime and injustice. Okay? Somebody write crime and injustice in the chat room. He becomes a vigilante, okay? Known as Batman, using his intellect and his martial arts skill and all his advanced technology to fight crime. And the Joker, on the other hand, somebody type the Joker in the chat room. The Joker, on the other hand, is Batman's arch nemesis, one of the most infamous villains in the whole DC comic universe. I think one of the most infamous villains throughout American folklore. And he's a criminal. He's a mastermind with a sadistic sense of humor and a penchant for chaos and anarchy. And here's the thing I want you to understand. Somebody type chaos in the chat room. Somebody type origin story in the chat room. Chaos, just like Joker's origin story, is portrayed in mystery, and it's ever changing. And there's so many different versions. And it suggests that there's a suggestion he was a failed comedian who turned his life into crime after a tragic accident. But we really don't know, because in chaos, this is where order comes out of. You have to have chaos before you can draw order out of chaos. In other words, it is because of the Joker that we have the Batman. The Joker came first, and then the Batman. Chaos came first, injustice came first, which brought about the rise of order and justice. And this is why they need each other. You cannot have one without the other. And so the relationship between Batman and the Joker is complex and multifaceted in that regard. The Joker, and even when we look into the mysteries of the world, when we look in the origins of the universe, there was chaos. And then God brought order to chaos. Remember that? He formed the planets and the skies, and he formed chaos. So this is something that is replete throughout your all your books, all your great religious books, because it's part of the human psyche. The only thing that can come out of us is what is in us. And so when you begin to understand our great arts and our great works and our great writings and religions, and stop just looking at the pages that are written and start understanding the concepts behind them, you begin to understand yourself. So back to the relationship between Batman and Joker. All right, Joker's obsessed with Batman, and he sees him as the ultimate challenge and a counterpart to his own madness. He's constantly trying to prove that anyone, even the most morally upright individual, just like Batman, can be driven to madness and darkness. Even the most just, even the most ordered person, this martial artist, this great businessman, this scientist, we can even drive him to chaos. We can even drive him to darkness and madness, as logical as he is. Batman, on the other hand, he sees Joker as a dangerous, unpredictable adversary that represents everything he fights against. Remember, Batman was born of chaos. He saw his mother unalived, his father unalived in front of him by the same sort of injustice and chaos that the Joker puts forth. Now, while Batman is driven and committed to justice and order, Joker thrives on chaos and unpredictability, making him a formidable opponent, but also, for the most part, their adversarial relationship, Batman and Joker, they're just two sides of the same coin. Their actions and their motivations actually mirror each other in very interesting ways. The Joker's existence challenges Batman's sense of justice and morality. And this leads to a deep philosophical and psychological conflict between the two characters. They need each other. Good and evil need each other. Chaos and order need each other. Justice and injustice need each other. There has to be a balance. That does not mean they're always equal, but eventually there's a balance. Because see here, the great Dr. Martin Luther King, who was a very profound philosopher, if you really begin to read his writings, he said the arc of the universe bends towards justice. But it has to, because the universe itself is in chaos. Are y'all with me? Is this going over your head? Is this going over? Let me say that again. Dr. Martin Luther King coined the phrase that the arc of the universe bends towards justice, but he said that because he recognized that chaos is the predominant condition in the universe. So if the arc of justice bends towards justice, it's just so that we can maintain balance. Are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? Huh? Now, what does Batman represent? And what does the Joker represent? Batman and the Joker are often seen as polar opposites. And most people see them as representing different aspects of human nature and human society. And here's the thing. Let's look at Batman. What does he represent? He represents justice and order. He represents the concept of justice, the concept of order. He's a symbol of hope, okay? Hope for the citizens of Gotham. Order out of chaos. Remember we talked about those lions and animals preying on human beings? That was considered evil. So we need the hero to come protect society from this evil thing that is always preying on us, these tornadoes, these hurricanes. We went from fighting against nature to fighting against crime and corruption in the city and making the city safer. In other words, making society safer. This is what the hope that this hero would come along and do that. And we will do it with what? Determination and discipline in controlling our environment. And when we look at Batman's alter ego, Bruce Wayne, he's disciplined, he's highly trained individual who uses his resources and skills to fight crime. And he represents the power of determination and discipline in achieving one's goals. This is how you overcome that inner chaos within you, that inner Joker. Somebody type that inner Joker in the chat room. Okay, somebody type that inner Joker. How do you overcome yourself? Determination and discipline. Many of you have come from situations where you were impoverished, you were living in a hostile environment. How did you dig yourself out of there? How do you dig yourself out of that chaotic existence? It was your inner Batman. Determination, discipline, hard work, bringing order to your life. And in doing so, you were able to do what? Move through society. You can't move through society chaotic. That's why oftentimes people who are addicted to hard drugs, people who are addicted to heroin and cocaine, and they live these hard lifestyles, they lack discipline. They lack the determination that they otherwise would have to create order in their life is taken away. Now, what does Batman do? What is his primary? Why does he choose a Batman thing? Why does he choose a bat? He feared bats, and he makes these other fear. He literally strikes fear into the hearts of criminals. He's using the symbol of a bat to instill terror in his enemies. What does order do to chaos? What does it do? It usurps it. So if we were to personify chaos, we would say, well, this devil is afraid of God. This devil which causes chaos is afraid of the order that God brings. Are y'all with me here? Y'all, let me know. Somebody let me know. I've been holding back on this broadcast for a minute. I didn't want to lose anybody. Y'all let me know. This is Wednesday night. This is supposed to be my best night. But you guys don't, I don't know. We're 35 minutes in. We only got 133 people. Let me know. Oh, man. Now, look, at the same time, Batman, he also represents redemption and the possibility of overcoming personal tragedies and making a positive impact in the world, which is what people who call themselves good, that's what the hero wants to do. Now, Joker, on the other hand, he represents chaos and anarchy. He's the embodiment of chaos and anarchy. He is the embodiment of a force of nature. There's no telling what's going to happen. He don't know. It's just unruly. He's the big lion out there eating, preying on, our tribesmen and women and children on the Serengeti. Right? He revels in creating mayhem and disrupting societal order, and often with no clear purpose. Just like a tornado, it just comes through and what happened? And he just does chaos and destruction. This is the Joker. Why are you doing this? And so it's harder to understand that when you try to personify things like hurricanes and volcanoes and tornadoes and earthquakes. You're trying to, what do we do, God? The God of the volcano that made you upset with us. How do you, but this is what early man began to do, and it's stuck. So when we see people like this, we're like, oh my God, we call them psychopaths. We call them chaotic. But this is the inner you. Even you, some of you guys. Right? His madness and unpredictability. The Joker is a character driven by madness and unpredictability. But if you take the concept of evil away from him, it makes sense. The one constant about the Joker is that he will continue to be mad and he will continue to be unpredictable. That's what's predictable about him. And his actions are often irrational based on what we see, and they're illogical. And it makes him dangerous and unpredictable as an adversary, because what is the polar opposite of order? Unpredictability. Now I'm gonna say something. I want y'all to hear it. Listen to me. Unpredictability is good sometimes, isn't it? That late night flight that you took to hang out in Miami might be good for you sometimes. Is predictability always good? Is order always good? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get up every day at 7 o'clock. I'm going to take a shower for approximately 4 minutes and 32 seconds. It's going to take me 18 seconds to get out of the shower, 1.2 minutes to dry myself. Is that really the sort of order you want? Because that is order to the extreme. Think about it. So somebody type dark mirror in the chat room. And I'm going to go with that. That's a good way to segue into this concept. Somebody type the dark mirror in the chat room. Okay. The dark mirror, Joker, he serves as Batman's dark mirror and reflecting the darker aspects of human nature and challenging Batman's beliefs and values. And he represents the idea that anyone, even the most morally upright individual, can be pushed to the brink of madness under the right circumstances. Where my passport bros at? Come on now, let's speak the truth here. Some of you guys are church-going, upstanding guys. You're wonderful men. Many of you are fathers, and yet you will take a flight to the Dominican Republic. You will hang out in Sosua on that strip, and you will sleep with every streetwalker that you can get hold of. Won't you? You'll do the same thing down in the Copacabana in Brazil, literally cavorting with prostitutes. And then you'll be back at church the next Sunday. Come on now. Somebody type dark mirror in the chat room. You'll do the same thing in Colombia. There's guys in Thailand right now. You just got out of some of that hot stuff. And you listening to me. On one hand, you're this upstanding citizen with a job, you got an education, you got a career, right? You're Batman. And then on the other hand, you're Joker, because you like the chaos associated with that dark side of life. Come on now, let's speak now. You're a good student, you're a wonderful student, but every time you go to the club and you get a little bit of that fire water in you, you have the inclination to put your hands up and go hit somebody. You waiting for a fight. That's that Joker within inside you. That's that chaos seeker inside you. Some of you guys may not have to go so far as another country. You can go to the strip club. Matter of fact, you're a married man and you got a side chick right now. Somebody type side chick and you hit it raw dog. Somebody type raw dog in the chat room. You over there smashing the side chick raw dog, aren't you? And you know what happens when you have sex with a woman often enough. And at some point, she's going to get pregnant. And you got a whole wife at home with some kids and you smashing raw dog. What is it in you? That inner you that says, yeah, just leave it in, man. F it. Come on, let's speak to each other, brother. Let's be men about this. Let's have this conversation. You on church on Sunday, you're an upstanding father. You got a little girl that you love, or little girls that you love the women folk in your family. Yet you can go to one of these other countries and treat these women like straight up 304s. Smashing 2-3 of them at a time, drinking. I want you guys to just, I'm trying to help. Somebody type dark mirror in the chat room. See, Batman and the Joker, they're two sides of the same coin. You are both of those men, fellas. You're both of those men. You are both the Batman and the Joker. They have contrasting ideologies and contrasting methods. And, you know, it creates a compelling dynamic, and it explores the themes of both chaos and order within, and also in the greater society, justice, morality. And it also reflects the ongoing external struggle and internal struggle between good and evil, or as they say, light and dark, and the complexities of human nature. You are the Joker and you are the Batman. Now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dig a little deeper. I hope you guys are with me. I hope I haven't run you off. If you've learned something, make sure you do what you got to do. If you learned something, show me your appreciation by hitting the super chat, the Cash App, or the PayPal. Other than that, we'll be right back. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe. We are less than 200 people away from getting 70,000 people, man. And I'm excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. So you guys do what you got to do, and we shall be right back.
In a minute, Blizzard King, this is Winter, Dennis Spurling podcast. You are rocking with the realest black men represented. Ain't no lies, cause we winning, catching flies, ain't no feelings. Uncle D, we the villain, baby. We just left the village, baby. Now we in them villas, baby. Dennis Spurling podcast, tuning in, we get it, baby. You can hate the player, hate the game. We love all you haters. Hate watch, hate watch. Calling lovely ladies, hands on your knees. You can thank us later. We snatching the crowns off of queens, we obliterate them. Tell the truth, train the devil, they trying to eliminate us. You begging to sipping haters, peeling layers off potatoes. Whoa, Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling podcast. Whoa, Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling podcast. Whoa.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. Big shout out to my man Mark the Freelancer. Finally, man, I didn't think I thought y'all were going to abandon me tonight. Shout out to Mark the Freelancer for the $3 super sticker. Big shout out to Mile High Gambler. He says, Dark Mirror, this is the same as the meaning of karma, light and darkness. Keep a balance to experience joy. You must experience pain to succeed. You must fail to experience love. You must experience grief to a great time. No, what I'm trying to do is get you fellas to accept yourselves for who you are. Okay? Now, you can lie to the world, but I don't want you lying to yourself. This is the whole point of this conversation. I don't want you lying to yourself, because when you start lying to yourself, you become delusional about who you are. Okay? I told you guys, and I tell y'all all the time, I accept the fact that I'm the bad guy in this society that we live in, especially amongst the subculture of Black America. I'm the bad guy because I'm a traditional man. I want a woman to be cooperative, fit, feminine, submissive. So I'm the bad guy in this society, this subculture. And so in doing that, we have to understand, well, who's writing the story? You see? Or better yet, I'm a passport bro too. I used to go hang out there, and a father here in the United States hanging out with loose chicks all throughout South America and Central America. You see? So we have to accept ourselves for who we are, brothers. And look, and you're not the only one. That's the other thing. You're not by yourself. Accept yourself for who you are. Now, we have laws in place to help you when you cannot self-govern, to keep you in check. Because what happens if everybody starts doing chaotic stuff at the same time? We have anarchy, and that's what the Joker represents. So that's why we have law and justice in order to keep the chaos and disorder in control. Now that we back to it, society-wide, okay? We're gonna go a little deeper. We're gonna go a little bit further back in history. We're gonna take it back about 3,000 years. Somebody type Isis and Osiris. Somebody type Isis and Osiris. This is just stuff you should understand. Your Bible that you read, much of the Bible that you read is based off of stories that were floating around the Middle East and North Africa for centuries before the Bible writers began to write them down. So yeah, when you begin to look into the let's say, for instance, the 10 Commandments, they're based on the 42 laws of Ma'at. If you go to the tombs, the temples in Egypt, and you begin to look at the walls, you're like, wow, these same stories, like Noah and the flood, are taken down in the Bible. These stories were passed down. And so, look, I don't want to run y'all off. I'm a Christian. I love God. I love my Bible. I love Jesus Christ. I love what he represents. Okay? But we have to look at the history of where these came from. It's still God's word, because these stories tell these allegory-like stories tell you the inevitable truths of the universe. These are the rules to live by. This is how the universe works. And so when you begin to understand how the universe works, you guys always say, man, Uncle D is always figuring stuff out. It's because I understand the rules to live by. I understand how the universe works. Those of you who read my books, what I do in my books, Rules to Live By, is I begin to explain to you the life that we're living in right now, and I show you examples that are present even back in our Holy Bible. And this is what I'm doing. These are the rules to live by. These universal laws have not changed. They are still the same. Okay? Y'all hit the number 1 button if you can hear me, man. Let me know if you can hear me. Hit the number 1 button if you can hear me. Shout out to my man. And I would like for you to get everybody's super chat in. Keep giving the real talk, Uncle D. It ain't always the most popular, but it's what's necessary, more blessing. When you begin to accept yourself, when you begin to know who you are as a man, it will help you navigate this world. You have less stress, you're less crazy. You won't be trying to be something that you're not. You'll know who you are. You'll accept yourself. This is what I want you to do. And then once you know who you are and you accept yourself, then you can strive to be your better self. Okay? Yeah, this is what we should be doing. This is men building themselves. Now let's talk about Egypt. Everybody wants to look at the buildings and the pyramids, and I'm like, okay, great. What can we learn from them? Let's examine their mythology. Let's examine their stories so we can know who we are. Isis and Osiris were a couple. They had a son named Horus, Horus, Horus. And this was a hero. He was a hero, just like Batman is a hero. He was a hero, and that's why the name Horus is very similar to, or Horu, or hero. That's where that term comes from. And he's actually one of the most significant and revered deities throughout ancient Egypt and religion and mythology. He's often depicted as the falcon-headed god, and he's associated with kingship. Somebody type kingship in the chat room. And the sky and protection. Now, there's a reason why he's associated with the falcon, because as a society, remember we started this off, and I want to get back to this. We started off as people who traveled around in packs of about 150 for 10,000 years ago. And this is how societies form. And the only way society could form is if we kept there had to be order. We had to walk away from the chaos, the nature. We had to begin to learn to control nature. We had to build huts and shelters and fire and hunt. And then we started farming, and we needed order to bring order out of that chaos. And chaos, nature was the chaos. And so what does the falcon do? A falcon flies. A falcon oversees society. That's why Horu or Horus he has the falcon head, because he's overlooking the society and he's making sure everything is in order. He's the king. He's in the sky. He's the protector. He's looking from his view. And so Horus played a crucial role in Egyptian mythology, particularly in the mythological battle between himself and his uncle Set, who was the god of chaos and violence. You can't have order and justice if you have violence there, right? And he was vying for the throne of Egypt. Was society going to devolve into chaos and violence? Or was there going to be a falcon head? Was there going to be protection? Was there going to be order? And this is the constant battle between society. So we went from examining the human being and the battle that we have to the external battle that we deal with in society at large. You see, Horus was considered to be the symbol of divine kingship and the rightful ruler of Egypt, but he constantly had to battle with Set for that. Okay? So what does Horus represent? And what does Set represent? In Egyptian mythology, Horus or Set, they're two, as I said, they're contrasting roles, just like the Batman and the Robin. Horus represents kingship. He represents righteousness. He's associated with being the rightful ruler of Egypt. He embodies the concept of order and justice and righteousness, and he's seen as a protector of the Pharaoh and the Egyptians' people. He's the sky. He's protection, and the Egyptians revered the sky. Amun-Ra, one of their greatest gods, he was the sun, and so they revered the sky. You see? And again, so Horus he represents the protector, the defender against chaos and evil. He is divine justice. Somebody type divine justice in the chat room. He triumphs over evil. He is good. He's often portrayed as a heroic figure in battles against Set, the god of chaos, in order to do what? Restore order and balance to the world. Remember, you cannot have order unless you have chaos, to which you bring order out of chaos. Okay? Now, who does Set represent? Set represent. He is the god of chaos, violence. He's the desert storm. So again, we have the theme of nature. Doing these erratic, they had to explain, well, why is it that, what do we do, God? We sacrifice some animals and you still send this storm. And they personified it as evil. And the reality is just a desert storm. It's just an act of nature. It's just something that occurs because of the violence. But ancient man personified these natural events. It gave them different character traits. And a desert storm was considered evil. Violence was considered evil. This is part of Egyptian mythology. And this story is replete. But again, in this context, evil is represented as a disruptive or destructive force in the world. And it's associated with disorder and chaos. If there's a flood that hits, let's say, Ohio, shout out to all my people in Ohio. Modern man doesn't associate that with evil, but man with less explanations back 10,000 years ago, they associated that with evil. And so so they can have a better understanding of it because they needed to have an understanding. This is ancient man. The other thing about Aset, he is the symbol of adversity and conflict. Somebody type adversity in the chat room. You don't want to get your butt up at 7 o'clock in the morning so you can be at work by 8:30. That's the adversity that you deal with. The conflict of should I stay here and sleep or should I hit this alarm button, hit the snooze button? What counteracts that adversity and that conflict that you're dealing with? What did Batman have? What did we talk about? What was Batman's trait? Discipline, determination. You see? Are y'all starting to see this? This is how you overcome your evil self, the all set within you. You overcome adversity and conflict by morality, order, discipline. He was known for his treacherous nature, Aset, and his role in challenging the order established by other deities like Horus and Osiris, who was his brother, who he actually ended up killing. How do you control your treacherous nature? Through your morality. Your moral self controls your treacherous self. And some of y'all are real treacherous out there. Somebody type treacherous in the chat room. I know you. You have treacherous thoughts right now, don't you? Tell the truth. If I dropped $100 on the bill, if an old lady walking down the street dropped $100 down on the ground, most of y'all will pick it up. And if you wouldn't pick up $100, let it be 100,000. You ain't giving it back. You're treacherous. And the fact that you thought about it means you're treacherous. But it was your morality that overcame that treacherous nature, which is why you did what you felt was the right thing. Think about that. Think about it. Now, isn't it interesting that evil is often associated with natural phenomena like storms and the desert, right? Nobody's ever called a desert with no water that you got to walk 50 miles through. That's never considered good. But a tropical spring with pineapples, the same nature, same earth, that's always considered good. Think about that. How shallow are we, the nerve of us, to try to impose our understanding and our perspective on something as vast as nature? Think about it. But we do, because we as human beings are just that arrogant. But to think about it, you have to understand. Just like nature, Aset, the antagonist to Haru, he embodies the harsh and unpredictable aspects of nature, and contrasted with the more stable and benevolent deities like Horus. You see? And that's why they're rivals. So what are the similarities between Horus and Batman, Aset and Joker? Let's think about that. Horus is an Egyptian. He's a god from Egypt. He's a king. He's a protector, righteous. He typically is depicted as a falcon head. He sees over things. He sees everything. He has the perspective of the god, right? He can maintain order. What about Batman? Batman is a bat. So you got the falcon and the bat. And what do they both do? They oversee. They are up high looking at society, down low. And they come in and swoop down and maintain order where necessary. Think about that. Both of them are fictional superheroes. One from 2,000 years ago, one from 100 years ago. They fight disorder. They fight crime. Batman fights in Gotham City. Horus fights in the kingdom of Egypt. He was designed to fight for justice. He was designed to fight for deterrence. He's determined to do it. Even if you look at the origin story of Horus, it was because his mother, Isis, put Osiris back together, and then, had, what is it called? Spontaneous, immaculate conception. But it was only he had to put him back together because his brother cut him up into I believe 13 different parts. But for Set, chaos, you could not have Horus, who brought forth order. So the origin story remains the same. Where there's chaos, you can bring order. Same thing with your life. You may be wrought with chaos in your life, but if you use these principles, discipline, hard work, integrity, morality, you can snatch order out of the madness, out of the anarchy in your own life. And we do that all the time with society. Are y'all with me? Is this helping you? Are you guys with me? Is this helping you? If this is helping you better understand yourself, say, I am helped in the chat room. Come on now. Somebody say, I am helped in the chat room. Are you starting to understand yourself a little bit better? Are you beginning to accept yourself for who you are? You have both a treacherous nature and a moral nature. You have both good and evil in you. Think about that. I think it's fair to say that shout out to my guys. I know y'all finally, I thought y'all was gonna run up out of here. But thank you so much for the super chat. That's how I know you learning something, when you guys are so inspired to send me a super chat or a cash app. That's how I know. That's my measuring stick. But we can't always be messy and talking about what's going on in pop culture. We got to build, otherwise we're just wasting our time. This is not a channel for gossip. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to waste my time. That is not going to be my legacy. Okay. I'm not going to allow that to be my legacy. Now, here's the thing. I want you guys to roll with me on this, because this is going to be interesting, to say the least. So what happens, fellas? What happens when society begins to lean too far to either side? Is there such a thing as too much justice? Is there? Somebody type too much justice in the chat room. Huh? What happens when society, when the balance between justice and order on one side, anarchy and chaos on the other side, gets off balance? Yeah, I'm telling you, what if, is there such a thing as being too good? What happens? We know what happens when things get too bad, but what happens when it's too good? What happens when society leans too far towards one extreme or another? Let's look at justice and order. Now, justice ensures that individuals are treated fairly and equally within a society. And it involves upholding laws and rights and moral principles to protect people from harm and ensure accountability. But are all people equal? Are they? And if people aren't all equal, why should we treat them equal? I'm just asking. What is treating a child fairly the same as treating an adult fairly? Because a child needs to be fed and the child needs to be taken care of. But is that fair to us to have to treat an adult that way when they're capable of taking care of themselves? I'm just asking questions. Because you might be going a little too far with some of this justice. What about order? Order refers to structure and organization and stability within a society. And it encompasses rules and norms and institutions that regulate behavior and maintain social harmony. To whose expense? What if we were in a fictitious world where a group of people who come from a certain place, who are, let's say, of a certain color, were required to, I don't know, let's say, work for their entire lives from sun up to sundown. And then the children that came out during their lifetime in that condition, they were also forced to work from sun up to sundown. That's order, right? It's structure, it's organization. It definitely creates a stable society where you have one group here on the bottom and another group here on the top. But darn, I mean, and that was the rule, right? If we're talking about something like slavery, That was the norm. That was the rule. That was the institution. And it definitely regulated behavior and maintained social harmony, right? Think about that. Sounds to me like they needed a little anarchy and a little chaos in that society. Because anarchy represents the absence of authority or order, and it leads to a state of lawlessness and disorder. And that sounds bad on paper. But when we put it in context of something like the Civil War or World War II, where the Allied forces went and had to liberate all those people from Nazi Germany, those Jewish people who were being held in those concentration camps, they needed a little anarchy over there. They needed a little chaos because it was too much order. Yeah, it was a stable society, but darn, you were oppressing people with your laws and your norms and your institutions and regulating their behavior, making them put stars on their chest. Same thing with black folks. Couldn't go from this plantation to the next without a pass. Couldn't be free, had to be born. Your family, think about that. Think about it. They need a little anarchy. See, anarchy represents the absence of authority or order. So what happens when the authority is unjust? What happens then? You need a state of lawlessness, because as far as the Joker is concerned, from his perspective, Gotham City is corrupt, right? Isn't that what he's always saying? And Batman's position is, well, we just got to work with what we got, but there's no way we should have people out here doing all these stuff. So you know what? Joker said, well, hell, if the people at the top don't abide by the rules, why should I abide by the rules? Hell, that's his logic. Think about that. Where Batman, on the other hand, said, well, this is the best we got, and we just gonna have to work with the system. And Joker said, you idiot, the system is corrupt in itself, so why should I have to abide by these rules? That's how you black folks think. You black folks have been subject to a lot of the so-called laws that are unjust, your rights and deprived, subject to these moral principles, and you looking at it like, damn, seem like the law only applies to me. Matter of fact, I might get the justice, but these other folks seem to get the benefit of the doubt. That's why it's more of them in the country, but it's more of us in jail. Hold on a minute. Chaos is the order of the day. That's why we fought the Civil War. That's why we had these riots. That's why people like Dr. Martin Luther King said that. And I look, I'm gonna tell you, you guys just think Dr. Martin Luther King was a civil rights leader. The man wrote some epic writings. He was a great philosopher. And if you can get over whatever his stance was on civil rights and look into what he said, he has some deep stuff. And he said that riots are the voice of the voiceless. When they're dealing with injustice, they bring forth chaos to counteract that justice that you say is justice. See, in anarchy, in a society where there's no central government and there's no enforcement of the rules, and people are often compelled to do that, their inner self says it's time for chaos. They bring forth a state of confusion, unpredictability, and upheaval. And it can arise from a breakdown of societal norms. And if those societal norms are deemed unjust, it leads to violence and instability and insecurity. And that's when people say, okay, it's time to readjust. Are y'all with me? Y'all with me? Listen now. Y'all thought this was gonna be some boring lecture. I'm not your law school, I'm not your college professor. I'm gonna tell you how it is. I'm not bound like that. See, what happens when society leans too far towards the side of justice and order, you may get authoritarianism. I might have mispronounced that. Authoritarianism, whatever. What this is the excessive focus on order and control. And it leads to authoritarian regimes that suppress people's freedoms and rights in the name of maintaining stability. And so people are going to rebel against that. Not everybody wants to walk to the beat of the same drummer. And when you try to make them conform, look, think about it like this, man. Some of you guys, we got any coaches out there, any football coaches, anything like that? Any football coaches? You got to let the talent flourish. Some people bring different attributes to the team. You got to let them flourish. It's great to have a system, but your system has to incorporate the talents of the different players onto the team. Some people can slam dunk. Some people got quick foot movement. Some people are good at passing. Some people are good at shooting. Incorporate the talent into your system. Stop trying to make everybody good at passing, everybody good at shooting, everybody good at dunking, everybody good at footwork. It's just not going to happen. But what if you say you can't be on the team? You're being excessively you're focusing. You're forcing too much order and control. That's not how it works. Human beings will naturally rebel against that. Not everybody is going to want to be a slave, even if they are of a certain color they're supposed to be. And they're going to rebel and they're going to fight back. That's when I go back to the story about the African-American condition here in the United States. Here's another thing authoritarian governments do. Or when we lead too far to justice and order. Not only is it authoritarian, it also becomes stagnant. These rigid structures, it hinders innovation and creativity and social progress. It leads to stagnation and lack of adaptability. There was a story, Bill Belichick. No, not Bill Belichick. What's my man's name? Coach for the New York Football Giants. He coached Lawrence Taylor. Was it Bill Belichick? What's his name, man? Was it Bill Belichick? It wasn't Belichick. Couldn't have been Belichick. He coached Lawrence Taylor, and Lawrence Taylor apparently had run a play. He was supposed to drop back in coverage. I think he was supposed to drop back in cover 2. And instead, he rushed the pass rusher, caused a fumble. And then he came to the sideline. Bill Parcells, that's it. That's right. Bill Parcells. And then he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So Bill Parcells reprimanded him from that and said, that's not what you were supposed to drop back in the play. He said, yeah, okay, coach, my bad. And then he went back out there. And I'm talking about Lawrence Taylor. Somebody type LT in the chat room, greatest of all time. LT went back out there, did the same thing. Caused the fumble. They ran it in for a touchdown. So he came to the sideline and just stood next to Bill Parcells. And Bill Parcells says, what you're doing, we don't even have that. He said, well, we sure better write it up because it's a doozy. And Bill Parcells said, yeah, you got to let the talent flourish. This is where creativity comes in. Will we have blues if every kid that went to music school just played like the teacher taught them? No. In my own particular profession, we wouldn't have innovation in the law and new ideas and new order if we didn't have some level of creativity. And this is what happened when you have too much justice and too much order. It eventually leads to inequality because this strict adherence to existing systems of justice, it perpetuates social inequalities and injustices, and it marginalizes certain groups within society. That's what we have here in the United States, and we have it for a long time. That's why the founders of this country in their great wisdom said that freedom is replenished with blood. And that's why every now and then we had the war, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and we fight it out sometimes when we have to. Thank God we have a system of laws and we vote, so we don't like the bastards, we can vote them out. But that's what happens when there's too much justice. And of course, when the society leans to too much anarchy and chaos, you get lawlessness, you got a lack of order, a lack of governance, and it results in rapid crime and violence and exploitation. you know what it looked like when you go to places like Somalia, instability, loss of trust, breakdown of societal norms. We get that. That doesn't really take much to understand. But maintaining a delicate balance between justice and order and anarchy and chaos. See, that's crucial for a healthy function in society. And it's crucial for you. Maintaining balance. Finding that balance involves promoting fairness and upholding the rule of law and fostering social cohesion and adapting to changing circumstances while safeguarding individuals' rights and freedoms. And it's striking a balance to have a continuous challenge. It's striking this balance as a continuous challenge, and it requires vigilance and dialogue and cooperation. But what happens to society when you have people imposing too much of these requirements? This is what you see happening, and people have their ideologies and they're stuck there and they're not looking for justice. They're looking for control. You see? But either way, we can look throughout history. We can look at Nazi Germany, and you can look at the severe suppression, individual freedoms, human rights, abuses, lack of political dissent, widespread fear, propaganda, economic stagnation, social striation, where people say, this is what happens. Too much justice, okay? The French Revolution, too much chaos, right? Arab Spring, too much chaos, okay? What was the effect? Society broke down. There's no law and order, destruction of infrastructure, loss of life. We call that evil. Somebody type evil in the chat room. Y'all ain't taking no flights to Somalia right now, are you? It's broken down. Too much chaos over there. But you take your behind down to Colombia, hang out in Medellin. It's organized. See what I mean? We call that a failed state. They need a hero. They need a Batman. Somalia, Syria. This is the prolonged this is what happened. Okay? Think about it. Think about it. Now, what happens when you got too much justice going on, when it becomes too totalitarian? Aside the way in which societies typically find balance is that they have movements like the civil rights movements in the 1960s, the women's suffrage movement in the 20th century. And the effect is the advancements in social justice, changes in legislation, empowerment of the marginalized groups, and increased equality, in greater societal cohesion. That's what that was about. You see? So if we want to recap, the way in which you maintain justice and order on one side and anarchy and chaos on the other side, the rule of law, that's number one. You got to have a strong legal framework that's fair and transparent and applicable to all members of society equally. So that doesn't mean if you white, you get this kind of justice, and if you're black, you get this kind of justice, because all that's going to do is lead to anarchy. Some jokers are going to pop up. And the rule of law ensures that justice is administered impartially, and the rights and responsibilities are clearly defined. Accountability, what does that mean? Holding each individual in every institution and all the governing bodies accountable for their actions. There needs to be transparency. There needs to be oversight. There needs to be mechanism and checks and balances to help prevent abuse and power. Now, here's the thing. Don't you have rules and regulations that you need to adhere to for yourself? Huh? What happens if you start eating 8-9 meals a day? You breaking your own internal laws. What is that going to do to you? Your own personal temple. Basically, you living in a lawless regime, and eventually it's going to bring your demise. Discipline. That's the law. That's the enforce of the law. I'm not going to overeat. Think about it. So these are not just societal things. These are things that you have to deal with on your own, and you have internal battles. Accountability. You see, just like we want to hold the government, the government, the governing bodies accountable, you want to hold yourself accountable for your actions. Okay? So these are just some concepts that I wanted to run by you. Now, here's the thing. again, we're talking about chaos. We're talking about order. We're talking about justice. We're talking about anarchy. But are we really? See, each of us should walk with a deeper understanding of how this epic struggle between order and chaos, good and evil in societies reflect the battles that we face within ourselves. And these are the themes that are not just societal or historical. They're profoundly personal, and they present each decision. You know, let me say it like this: every decision we make is a challenge. It's something that we encounter, and from the personification of good and evil, which is what early man began to do, we learn that the qualities we often attribute to external forces are also our internal dilemma. Somebody type good and evil in the chat room. See, each man carries within him elements of order and justice, as well as chaos and anarchy. And how we choose the decisions we make and the principles we uphold are reflections of which side we allow to dominate our actions. The Indians say that a man has two wolves in him, and they're constantly battling for dominance. The question is, which wolf is going to win? And it's the one that you feed the most. Have you guys heard that saying, some men just want to see the world burn? Hey, have you heard of that? I know y'all have heard of that. Some men just want to see the world burn. Haven't y'all heard that statement before? It's a very popular statement. Do you guys understand now what that means? Some men, they've experienced so much injustice or witnessed so much injustice, they just want to see the world burn. Many of you guys, so disheveled by the society that we live in, so upset about the society that we live in and how it treats you. You just want to see the world burn. That's that joker within you. That's that offset within you. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And this is why these archetypical narratives like Batman and Joker and Horus and Set and Jesus and the devil, God and the devil, David and Goliath. Come on, y'all, name them. Light and dark, yin and yang. See, we gain a framework from understanding our internal conflicts. And that's why you're so drawn to these characters, because you embody both the Joker and the Batman. You can understand both of them. And you can like, I don't know why he did that, but I understand that because that's you. Somebody said Yoda and Palpatine. Somebody said Crow proteins and C1 proteins. I'm done. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave here. Come on, man. Oh man, this is good stuff. I'm enjoying this, man. Are y'all enjoying this? You guys, I love you guys, man. I truly do love you guys. I appreciate y'all, and man, the stuff you see me doing for these other black men on the internet, and I would do the same thing for each one of y'all. I want you guys to understand that. Me standing up for black men, I would do the same thing for each one. So keep that in mind when they start. I don't know why anybody would try to fight with me. All I want to do is protect you and see your balls. Somebody type Uncle D want us to ball in the chat room. But let's get back to this, man. So these stories throughout history, they teach us that our struggles are not just about overcoming external challenges, but also about conforming, or should I say confronting and mastering our inner darkness and our temptation. Somebody type dark mirror in the chat room. Okay. I want you to look at that dark mirror within you, begin to understand yourself. See, there's a dynamic, the dynamic interactions between characters, good and evil characters personified like Batman and Joker. They serve as a metaphor for our internal conflicts, you know, between our higher selves and our higher ideals and our baser and our lower selves. The fight between the civilized man and the savage that's within us, you see? And these narratives should remind us that even the most morally upright amongst us, you're gonna be tested. Somebody type tested in the chat room. And that our commitment to justice and order, it can be challenged by the allure of easier, more chaotic paths. Some of you all have to fight against that chaos within you. You are chaotic. You are chaotic by nature. You have to be trained as a child. Don't do that. Don't do that. Sit still. You have to bring order out of that chaos that is within you. And you do that with discipline and hard work and integrity and morality. This is you. Society, the societies that we create are simply a manifestation of our internal. Whatever's inside you is what you're drawn to. This is why you like Batman and Robin. This is why Batman and Joker. This is why you like the conflict between Superman and Zod. And both of them, and here's the trick, both of them have attributes that you say, man, I could agree with that. Zod was trying to, we talk about, now we just went to DC. Zod was trying to save his people, right? What's wrong with that? Superman was trying to stop him to save these other people. And if I had to sacrifice this group of people for my people, would you do it or would you would not? Let's make it personal. If you had to choose between somebody else's family being saved in a sinking ship and your family being saved in a sinking ship, who would you save? What does nature tell you to do? Nature tells you to save your own. And nature doesn't pass judgment upon you. But society will. Society is going to attribute some different, well, what if there were women and children? But that's not my family. I got 3 sons. But what about those women and children from that other family? Well, oh my God, you're a horrible person. Think about that. Now, somebody said Black Panther and Killmonger. That's true. That's another one. Both of them had both of them had positions that you could say, yeah, I could, damn. That's why the anti-hero is so interesting. Thanos, right? And you guys are also the anti-hero. And if you stop faking and accept your real selves, you'd understand what I'm talking about. I know I am. That's why I just say, call me the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bully. I'm not easy to get along with. I'm the bad guy. Interesting, somebody brought up Two-Face. Remember, Two-Face was conflicted. He was Batman and Joker in one person. At least they had the common decency to separate Batman and Joker. But Two-Face, he symbolizes the conflict, the duality of man. That's what's very interesting. You see? So good observation, Braxton, Snake Fiend. So here's the thing. Let's try to push this thing along. We discussed, there's some societal lessons, and we discussed about the dangers of veering too far toward rigid order and complete anarchy, right? And that applies directly to your personal lives. You don't want a life that's too darn rigid, right? So you want to strive for balance. You want to integrate discipline with flexibility. Somebody type flexibility in the chat room. Order with freedom. Somebody type freedom in the chat room. See? So in order to do that, what that does is it helps you avoid the pitfalls of either extreme. Now, the strategies we discussed for maintaining societal balance, it's such as upholding the rule of law, ensuring accountability for all, fostering dialogue, and you can vote with your feet. You guys don't think you bringing you don't think you causing chaos in the Black community right now? Somebody type passport bros, huh? You don't think that you are bringing disorder I want you guys to roll with me on this. So for centuries, Black American men have been subject to what we would call or Black American women and Black American, they're stuck with each other. This is all you got. And we can go as low as we want to go. We can get as big as we want to get. We can do it. And I know this is something very easy for everybody to understand. And so what you Black men did was you inserted chaos in that by saying, no, we have another option. We're going to go utilize our passports. And what have they been trying to do to you, brothers? They've been trying to vilify you, haven't they? You're bad guys. You're bad guys. You're creating chaos and anarchy in the black community by leaving. That's what Dr. Umar Johnson has said. You guys should be coming over here, wifing up these single mothers and helping them create stable homes for the black community. You're creating this, but you're saying, but this society and these laws and these rules and these societal rules that you've imposed on us are too rigid and they don't allow us to have freedom and we don't like our options. You're the jokers. You see that? Do you see that? There are these things of good and evil always repeat themselves. Even within you, even within the society that we're living in. It's interesting, right? Somebody type "is interesting" in the chat room. Now, what is this chaos doing now? It's now they want to talk, right? They want some dialogue now, okay? And you guys want some accountability, okay? Now, the thing about it is, man, societies continually strive between balance, to have the balance between order and chaos. And so, each individual has to manage those forces within themselves. And if you don't mind being the joker sometimes, well, you're going to have a little fun. And you're going to teach these people who are trying to keep you oppressed. You're not going to do it all the time. But the thing is, these ongoing internal battles, they shape our character and our actions, and they influence how we interact with the world. And they define our place within it. Okay. And so, let's take it and analyze this. And hopefully we create a better understanding so that we can begin to master the inner world. And so we can be better equipped to contribute to a more orderly society that is just, but it also allows you to have your freedom. Okay. And so that's it. So somebody type the duality of man in the chat room. Somebody type good and evil. So what have we learned about good and evil in the chat room? I'm gonna ask you, what have we learned about good and evil? Is a hurricane good or evil? Is a tornado good or evil? I guess it's relative, right? Is the Joker good or evil? Was Killmonger good or evil? It depends on whose perspective. Was that mother lion who killed that wildebeest to feed her children, was she good or evil? Were you good or evil for saving your family of men as opposed to this other family of women and children? Were you good or evil? It depends on your perspective. It's a very interesting thing, but this is what we're dealing with. And I know this concept is going to fly over a lot of people's heads, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, I will take a quick break and then we're going to come back. And I want you guys, if you appreciate what I've done, if you've learned something, go ahead and contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. And that'll let me know you did. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break. You guys show me your appreciation by, number one, subscribing to the channel, because we're marching close to 70,000. I need less than 200 subscribers and we'll get there. The other thing you can do, of course, is always contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. But other than that, I'll be checking it out. Hope you guys appreciate what I'm doing. And if you learned something, type "I learned something" in the chat room. We'll be right back.
Looking at myself as I would see myself in the future. Looking up at my father, looking at his face and seeing my face.
People are so inclined to believe that black men are deadbeat fathers.
The else you need?
I'm the black boogeyman villain that just came on. Something going wrong, I'm the one you put the blame on. Community is up, shame on me. Deadbeat daddy put the blame on me.
Black men actually enable the very thing that they hate.
So by now, everybody has heard about the CDC research that was done, that black men are going around using that as their safe place to prove to everybody that they are excellent fathers and they are the most involved fathers of any other demographic.
Shut your ass up.
Shut your ass up!
You bring the game on me when I'm the best father. All the pain I see telling me to try harder. Broke in them dusty, no deodorant or musty. I'm the fall guy for the race when you getting busted. Stand up and be a man when your women want the role, want the leadership, the money, run the household, be as naked as a child, and I'm supposed to smile. You the reason why the neighborhood kids running wild. Call summer comes around, baby, keep your cookie. Matter of fact, I'm on a flight. You can pass that shit to Pookie. Chicago back to Houston. New York, we deem this useless. Baby, I'm in DR and mommy serving juices. Every movie needs a bad guy. Why not be the black guy? Shit, you can hang it on me. You need a scapegoat, point us out and take no shit. You know they gonna hang it on me. When you need a reason and the ladies commit treason, all you gotta do is hang it on me. Your daddies and your uncles and your nephews, that's amongst us, watch the whole world blame it on me. You to blame for this crisis, you to blame for this ISIS. Paper saver got created as favored. Who you think gon' die for being righteous? Who gon' vote for the oppressor? Me. Who pay most to get the lesser? You handing out all of the treasures, the immigrants getting the blessings. Who you think rapping is real? Want my opinion about this kill? I'm not Arab, homie, how did this feel? Cause I'm not living off in this real. My opinion, no matter, we get a deal. No reparation, just meal. I'm only speaking about what we feel. Keep talking that talk, I need a refill. Every movie needs a bad guy, why not be the black guy? Shit, you need a scapegoat, pointers out to take no shit. You know they gonna blame it on me. When you need a reason and you ladies commit treason, all you gotta do is blame it on me. Your daddies and your uncles and your nephews, that's amongst us, watch the whole world blame it on me. Every movie needs a bad guy, why not be the black guy? You can blame it on me. When you need a scapegoat, point us out and take notes. No, they gonna blame it on me.
Fathers are underappreciated. Those of you guys who don't know, my name is Dennis Spurling, also known as Uncle D, affectionately by the young fellas out there. And of course, the Blizzard King. Nevertheless, what should I say? I'm an attorney, I'm a podcaster, and I'm also, my favorite title is that of father. But I'm going to take the opportunity today to really talk to you guys about fatherhood.
Black man hit me up being like, yo, I can't wait to be a dad. I can't wait to be a father. And I feel like I owe those young men to tell them, like, bro, this is hard. Because it exposes things about you that you don't know about yourself. It exposes all of your insecurities. Man, it's a huge emotional undertaking. Right, when you see this and me playing with my baby and it looks really cool and you want to have those moments, just know that that's the upside. It comes with a downside and it can be incredibly painful. So before you take on a family, bro, go see somebody about your past and go see somebody about the trauma that you've endured throughout the course of your life and start healing. Because if you don't heal from that, you'll have all this and you'll never be happy. Especially anybody who thinks that you can just pour water over a lady and a baby and have a happy family overnight. This ain't oatmeal, man.
I want to see you win. And I put pressure on us men to understand how we did not get our masculinity training. And we have been doing our work, okay? But now it's time for you ladies to understand you're going to have to bet on us like you want us to bet on you. I talked to several men this week. I don't just get on here and talk shit. I have men I call around the world and I ask, what do you think about this concept? Level set me. Shout out to brother Dennis Spurling. Dennis, I don't want to tell people's business, but I'm going to tell you, high value men retire their women or make them come work for them. So ladies, what is it going to take for you to free yourself? Because you and I both know you're dying at these jobs. You're in a toxic.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. Did you guys understand the purpose of this? I hope you guys understand the purpose of it, because if you didn't, I'm going to lay it down where the cows can eat it. You guys, let me know if you understand the purpose of this conversation. Again, I told you we were doing masculine development, and there's really a cheat sheet to it. Somebody type cheat sheet in the chat room. Now, before we get to that, I want to make sure I get my guys who contributed to the super chat. But this next part, you probably gonna want to clip it, okay? But before I get to that, because these are the jewels. I'm gonna lay it down where everybody can understand it. Urban Eagle, shout out to you. Thank you so much, my good brother, for the $2 super chat. You've been here for a minute. Thank you. Coach King Rod, appreciate this lesson, Uncle D. A lot of gems were dropped in the monologue. Thank you so much. I'm gonna break it down even more because I want you guys to clearly understand. Your Excellence, sir. Big shout out to everybody in the military, all my armed forces guys. Your Excellence is always one of these guys who I appreciate, man. Thank you so much for your service. You guys are the real heroes here. He said I had to deal with the rules of engagement whole time. I'm like, that threat ain't aiming to de-escalate the situation. They're aiming to neutralize me. I'm not expendable. Shout out to you for being intelligent. Kenyatta Ali gifted 5 people. That's what's up, man. Yeah, y'all get the membership up, man. And I got all kind. Most of my stuff is in membership. Y'all make sure y'all go over there and check all that out. Thank you so much, Kenyatta. Your Excellence, sir. Again, he says the part that gets me the most is that they purposely overlook the solutions you speak of. Black men aren't just talking the talk. We're trying to teach, fix, and guide. Salute. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate you, bro. You are outstanding. Somebody type outstanding in the chat room. My man, International Quiet Storm, thank you so much for the $20. Salute, Mr. Spurling. Support Black Male Media. Man, you ain't gonna hear this no way. Again, man, your Excellence. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate the 5 gifted. Thank you, man. Make sure you get those memberships out to people, bro. My memberships are cheap. You get a lot of good word in here. Seminole 2014. Keep giving that real straight talk, Uncle D. It ain't always the most popular, but it's what's necessary for more blessings to you. Look, yeah, man. Look, let me tell you something. I don't want my legacy to be one just of fluff. Yeah, he got on the internet and he blah blah. He got a lot of followers and likes. I'm proud that the 70,000 people who are members are Black men. I'm proud that they're men. I'm proud that I'm able to speak to men, and I'm helping you guys come in and day out. This is not the type of channel. I don't do fluff. I don't do a whole lot of reaction videos. It's just men talking to other men, trying to become the best men you can be. I want you to be excellent men, excellent fathers. I want you to be excellent citizens. I want you to be excellent at whatever your profession is. This is what I want for you guys, man. And so this is what I want my legacy to be. So this is where I'm at. And everything I teach you guys and talk to you guys about, I live it, and I talk to my own sons about the same stuff. So this is what I give to my children. You know, who else we got up in here? We got my man Cody Marshall. Big shout out to you. Okay, so guys, all right. Now you're gonna learn something that some of you guys has floated over your head. You know what the heck was going on. What is he talking about? Batman. Why is Uncle D in there talking about Batman? I thought he was going to talk about them people he's about to sue for the plumber dude. Somebody type plumber. Somebody type Uncle D about to sue him in the chat room. Oh, man. Anyway, here's the thing. I want you guys to hear me out. We about to wrap this up. And I want to lay this down where you can eat it. Some of you all live in chaotic lives, don't you? And there's a reason why your life is chaotic, okay? I'm going to tell you what's going on right now. This is why your life is chaotic. Based on this conversation that we just had, a shout out to my man Magnum Group Vibes Lounge. Thanks you for being a member for 6 months. I appreciate you, brother. Justice is dish best served by the Blizzard King. That's right. But again, your life is chaotic. And here are the signs that indicate that you have disorder and instability prevailing in your life. Lack of routine, right? You have an absence of consistent daily or weekly routine, and it leads to erratic sleeping patterns, irregular eating habits, and poor time management. Not having a job, not having a regular exercise routine. Not sleeping. This is a lack of routine. And you will have chaos in your life if that's the case. Constant stress, feeling overwhelmed, stress constantly without periods of time to relieve that and relax. If you're the type of person that has frequent conflicts with people, you always arguing with something, you don't have peace of mind and happiness in your house. I talk a lot about that. You can't get with these Hellcats and think you're gonna have, I ain't talking about a car, I'm talking about them Hellcats y'all be having in your bedroom. You get a Hellcat in your house, you're not gonna have peace, brother. If you in constant conflicts, if you got family members that's constantly arguing with you, you live in a neighborhood, as I say in my rules to live by books, hell is not anywhere can be hell, okay? So lack of routine, constant stress, frequent conflicts, this is gonna bring chaos to your life. You're gonna have an unsuccessful life with those three alone. What about poor financial management? Difficulty in managing your finances, such as constant debt, overdue bills, impulse spending, without considering the consequences. That's a lack of order. Are y'all with me? If you neglect your personal health, ignoring your health concerns, skipping medical appointments, poor diet, lack of exercise, neglecting personal hygiene, you out here stinking. Somebody type stinking in the chat room. You out here smelling like a doggone trash bin. And you wonder why nobody wants to work with you or sit next to you, even talk to you with your bad, hot breath self. Somebody type hot breath in the chat room. Hello. You feel out of control. This is the chaos. This is what I'm talking about. It's a pervasive sense of losing control over your life where events seem to happen to you without your input or influence. Here's another one. You feel out of control and you're highly reactive. Everything is a fight with you. You overreact to minor inconveniences. You want to box everybody. And that indicates a reduced capacity to cope with stress and unexpected events. You're going to have chaos in your life. You're going to have disorder in your life. You're going to have lawlessness in your life. These are a recipe for failure. This is what the Joker represents to that extreme. Withdrawing from social interactions, avoiding friends and family, and spending an excessive amount of time alone. Isolation, we're social people. You got to find somebody to go be with. What about your decline in work and school? It's a look, if you got a noticeable drop in productivity or the quality of work or schoolwork, missing deadlines, failing to meet responsibilities, that's chaos. That's disorder. Not in society, but within you, because we're talking about you. Somebody type you in the chat room. Substance abuse. The more you rely on alcohol and drugs and other these substances, this is a means of coping with the stress. You're trying to escape the reality instead of just being the hero in your own life and dealing with that harsh reality. Instead of being the hero and bringing order out of that chaos, you want to put the drugs in your body so you don't have to deal with it. I tell my children all the time, drugs are for cowards. Drugs are people who want to get high so they can escape the reality that we live here, right down here on earth. What about people who are experiencing instability, rapid mood swings, high to low, the unpredictable? That affects relationships and decision making. Don't nobody want to be around you. Even something like disorganization. Remember when I said cleanliness is next to godliness? If you are dealing with a lot, if I'm stressed out, one of the things I've learned to do is clean my house. Shout out to all my military guys. Go in there and make that bed. Go in there and make those corners clean everything in your house. Spend time cleaning your home. Make sure all the dishes, all the forks are spotless. Because see, clutter in a messy home and a messy environment, it's difficult to find to find things and navigate space in the first place. And it also reflects an internal state of chaos. And so at this point, when you're dealing with that internal chaos, you need to become your own hero. How do you do that? How do you transform your life from being chaotic? Where are all my Pookie and Ray Rays at? I know y'all think I don't like you, but I love you. But I know you and I know who you are. How do you change that chaotic life? How do you think I became successful? Huh? How do you change a chaotic life? How do you maintain peace of mind and happiness when you're surrounded by chaos in the ghetto somewhere? You want to go from chaos to order and stability? How do you do that? What are those attributes? Y'all want to know? If you want to know, hit the number 1 button. I'm not gonna give it to you easy. If you want to know, hit the number 1 button. I need some number 1 buttons to be hit. If you want to know the key to success, hit the number 1 button if you want to know. I could be here all day. Number 1, what is akin to order? And if we got to bring order out of chaos, what's the first thing we need? What did Batman have? What did he exhibit? Number 1, discipline. And the best way to establish discipline is establish routines and stick to those routines. Even when it's challenging, even when it's raining outside, you get your big butt out there and you start exercising. You jog. That's your routine. I'm a jog twice a week. I'm going to go to this, play basketball or whatever, twice a week. I'm going to lift weights 4 times a week. I'm going to go to my job. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish this task. Discipline. Even when it's challenging. What it does is it helps bring structure and predictability to your life. That's one of the fundamental keys to success. Little boys who grow up without discipline, who grow up without fathers, who grow up without respecting discipline often fail. They can never be a hero. They can never be Haru. They can never be Batman. They are undisciplined. This is the problem that we have. This is why we have a lack of heroes in the Black community. Somebody type discipline in the chat room. Come on now, let's get it. The keys to success, the key to bringing order to your life. These are all things I do. Responsibility, take ownership over your actions and the outcomes. This is how you move away from chaos, because it fosters a sense of control and accountability. You can't have control if you don't have accountability. How can you control somebody who refuses to take accountability? How can you control somebody and teach them responsibility if they're out of control and refuse to take accountability for their actions? They're always blaming somebody else. So you have to take ownership over your actions and the outcomes. And that's crucial in moving away from chaos. The reason the Black community right now is in chaos, because you got a lot of people, I'm not going to say any names, who refuse to accept accountability for themselves, and they're out of control. So they not responsible. So that's 2. Number 3, patience. Just like societies don't change overnight, you're not going to change overnight. You're not going to go from a chaotic state to a state of order and discipline overnight. Changes don't happen overnight. And patience is vital in dealing with setbacks and challenges without reverting to disorderly behavior. Well, you know what? I lost my job, so I'm going to get on drugs and start drinking. Oh, God, be patient. And along with patience is resilience. And this is the ability to recover from difficulties and to cope with stress and adversity without falling back into these chaotic habits. And this is when you need something in you. This is when you start talking to your God, I'm not going to quit. Okay, I'm going to keep going. This is what you need for your masculine training. Discipline, responsibility, patience, resilience, mindfulness. Lord knows Woo! Mindfulness. Somebody type mindful in the chat room. That absent-mindedness will kill you. I got a guy right now, high-ranking martial artist that I learned from. He went into a store, he got a little breakfast sandwich. He walked outside, forgot to pay for it, sat in his car, ate it. 6 weeks later, he got a notice in the mail saying that he's being prosecuted for theft. Absent-mindedness. Leaving your keys here and there, not preparing for the day, forgetting you didn't put gas in the car. Now you're on the side of the road somewhere. You got to be aware of your thoughts and your actions in the present moment. You got to know what you're doing. So here's the thing, that absent mindfulness and also mindfulness. You got to stop these impulses and decisions that lead to chaos and undermine you. You could be your own worst enemy. Self-control, managing your impulses and emotions. And this is key to avoiding decisions that bring short-term relief but long-term chaos. Yeah, I know he stepped on your shoe in the club and you got them brand new Gators on and your impulse is to go upside his head. But is that it might feel good in the short term, but that's not going to be good for you. Okay? These are the keys to success for you men. Let me run them back to you again. Discipline, responsibility, patience, resilience, mindfulness, self-control. Here's another one. Planning and organization. Skillfully managing time and resources and setting goals and making plans to achieve them. That can significantly reduce the chaos in your life. Planning. Getting a budget together, planning what your day is going to be like. Here's another one, adaptability. And somebody type, the hero in my life. You are the hero in your life. You are the Superman that you're waiting to come save you. You are the Batman that is coming to save you from chaos. You are. You have to save yourself from that Joker within you. This is what I want you men to understand. Nobody's coming to save you. Uncle D is not coming to save you. You are the hero that you've been waiting for. And discipline, responsibility, patience, resilience, mindfulness, self-control, planning and organization, those are the things that are going to get you there, along with adaptability. Being able to adjust to changes and unexpected situations without losing sight of your goals. That's going to help maintain order during these potential disruptions, because chaos is going to happen. Earthquakes are going to happen. Job loss is going to happen. Tornadoes are going to happen. You're going to break up with that ugly girl you've been chasing after. That's going to happen. Divorce is going to happen. Separations are going to happen. Okay? Just like nature, these life events are the same thing. You call them both evil. You evil woman, you divorced me and took my kid. It's just chaos. It's going to happen. So you need to be able to adapt and not lose sight of the goal. Your goal is to try to figure out what it is the Most High wants you to do and do it. If you're supposed to save Gotham City, well, that might be you, but you got to be adaptable to whatever disruptions show up. There's going to be a Joker around every corner. And usually it's the dude in the mirror. The other thing is problem solving. And this is what wisdom and time helps you with this. You have to be able to effectively address issues before they escalate. Right? Before it spirals into complications and leads to some chaotic outcomes. I can't be around these people no more. They smoke weed, they hang out all night, they fight. I can't be around them. I'm not going to the cookout. Somebody say F the cookout. You solved that problem before it happened. I'm not going. I know that once they get that Donald Duck orange juice and that gin in them, or that brown, somebody type Crown Royal in the chat room. Or like my uncle used to say, that Crown Royal. Somebody type Crown Royal in the chat room. Once that get to flowing, that's a problem waiting to happen. So I'm just going to avoid it. That's the best problem solving skill right there. Avoid the problem. F the cookout. I need that t-shirt. I hope somebody, I need that. F the cookout. Another one, ethical integrity. Stick it to your set of morals. That's going to help you guide your decisions and behaviors. And it provides a stable foundation, even in turbulent times. Listen to this. Repeat after this. If you haven't bought my books, man, you really got to get them. You guys got to get them. If you want the books, I'm going to even put the email at the bottom. But one of the things I tell guys in my books is this, and I want you guys to repeat after me. I know who I am. I like who I am. And I'm not going to change. Let me run that back by you again. I know who I am. I like who I am. And I'm not going to change. What this signifies to you and the world is that I'm going to stick to my moral values because they help guide my decisions and my behaviors. And they help provide me a stable foundation, even in turbulent times, because I know who I am, which means I know what I stand for. I know what I will deal with. I know what I won't deal with. I know what my boundaries are. I don't let people break my boundaries. And when they do try to infringe on my boundaries, I know what I'm going to do. I like who I am. You can't come along and tell me to be somebody other than who I am. I don't want to be a gangster. I want to be a poet. I don't want to walk around with saggy pants. I like polos and button-up shirts. And if this woman demands that you be tough, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy. Because all that's going to do is bring chaos to my life. I'm not interested. And you can use that for any other things. This is who you are. You sticking to your moral code. I know who I am. I like who I am. And I'm not going to change. That's my moral code. Of course, we're going to change. You're going to get a haircut. You're going to lose weight, gain weight, whatever. But at essence, I know who I am. I like who I am. And I'm not going to change. Okay. Lastly, your communication skills, expressing your needs and your thoughts and feelings clearly, and even listening to others to try to resolve conflicts and whatever misunderstandings that might otherwise lead to chaos, because there's nothing that leads to a good fist fight like a misunderstanding, especially when that liquor get to flowing. Praise God. Somebody type fire water in the chat room. Somebody type fire water in the chat room. And not like you have a whole, so you need to be able to speak. And that's the importance of this YouTube thing that we have here. It allows us to speak. And when you hear me speak and you hear me say the things that I was thinking the same thing. That was, yeah. And then we dig deep into it. You're like, wow, that's how I feel. You see, and then you're not so alone, number one. You see? And that helps you resolve conflicts, because now these lovely ladies, they got to listen to you. And you don't have to be over there strong and silent and just suffering, which is going to cause the Joker to come out. Somebody type Joker in the chat room. That Joker is going to come out. Now you're going to have a side chick and 3 baby mamas on the side. That Joker will come out. Here's the other thing. And this is the final one. Reflection and self-awareness. Regularly assessing your life and acknowledging the areas of improvement. That's going to prevent these old chaotic habits from reemerging. Constantly looking at yourself, as opposed to going back to that bag of Doritos that you use as a coping mechanism, or that good weed. You know, that good weed that when life gets too stressed, just say, you know what I need to do, instead of being stressed out, I need to be able to get these change orders out faster. So I'm not so stressed out at the job. What do I need to do that? What do I need to improve? Do I need to learn a new skill? Do I need to take this class? Do I need to get another certificate? Eliminating the stress. So you constantly building yourself and understanding yourself. So let's run these back again, because this is important. The keys to bringing order to your life as a man on a personal level: discipline, responsibility, patience, resilience, mindfulness, self-control, planning and organization, adaptability, problem-solving skills, ethical integrity, communication skills, and reflection and self-awareness. You can do that and you will become the hero in your own life, brothers. And that's it. Anybody who exhibits these habits and these practices, you are going to have an orderly life and you will be successful at that life. Period. You can be your own hero. This is how you achieve the crown of king in this world, in this society that we live in. That's it. Shout out to my man Seminole 2014, all these virtues that you just named: discipline, responsibility, patience, resilience, mindfulness, are all cornerstone virtues that God heralds in the good book. Yes, yes, finally. This is why it's God's word. These are universal truths that if you live in a society that has men like this, that do that, the society will be a godly society. This is why your Bible, no matter who you all say wrote it and writ it, somebody type writ it, it still holds these universal truths. Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's it. That's it. And it's not complicated. When you boil it down, oh, this is what it's trying to get me to be responsible. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to be patient, resilient. Oh, wow, this is why they tell us all these stories of these biblical heroes. And it's look, whether you're talking about Thor and the Viking pantheon of gods, whether you're talking about the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, whether you're talking about Batman and Joker, it's the same attributes of the hero. Whether we're talking about Odysseus or Superman, it's the same thing. These are the attributes. This is what our great ancestors were trying to teach. Shout out to Seminole for getting it, man. You get an A+. Thank you so much, my man Donnell Mecca Booker. I'm late, but you got me locked in. I'll catch up later. Got me thinking here. Yeah, that's it. Those are the universal truths, brothers. This is what you need to bring order into your life. Those things that I put up there. That's what your Bible says. That's what all these great hero stories say. All these men exhibit this. This is the story that they were trying to tell you: how to be great, how to bring order to your life, how to bring order out of chaos. This is the blueprint. That's it. It's not complicated, brothers. It's not. It's no secret. There's no magic button. There's no get rich quick schemes. You gotta have peace of mind and happiness. And in order to have peace of mind and happiness, you got to bring order to your life. This feel like I did my job. I feel like I did my job. I think we did some masculine development on this page tonight. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to my man Boris Belkuda. Somebody type read it in the chat room. Yeah, man, this is cool, man. Shout out to everybody who came through. I appreciate it. Reading the comments again. This conversation is not for everybody. Most people are not gonna get it. I can explain it to you, but I can't make you understand. But you'll find these same attributes in your Bible. You'll find these same attributes that I'm talking about, these masculine attributes, in how to maintain an orderly society. The Bible basically talks about how to maintain a godly society, and a godly society is synonymous with an orderly society that lacks chaos. That's it. You see? That's it. So, read your Bible, read your Quran, read all your good books. It's all saying the same stuff, and it's relative to the time period. Nevertheless, this is Uncle D. I love you guys. And as always, say, man, whoop, I'm out.
Dennis Spurling Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.